Check this out, everybody, and I want you guys to look this up.
Okay.
There is a strategy to acquiring real estate that's called subject to. And basically, how it works is this.
Y'all think I ain't gonna write this down? Y'all tripping, man.
Yeah.
Come on, subject to. Okay. So you say not area subject to, not area 52. Okay.
So, Tio, the way it works is like this. Have you ever driven around a neighborhood and saw a bandit sign? And what bandit signs are those little signs. Sometimes they're yellow, sometimes they're white.
Right.
And then they'll say buy cash, buy homes for cash, things
Right.
like that. What those bandit signs are there doing is there are people who unfortunately can't pay their bill. So
Fell on hard times.
they fell on hard times.
Right.
So those people that fell on hard times, they probably acquired their property when the interest rates were at 2%, were at 3%.
This conversation about building up your blueprint. It's time to take it, cause time is wasted. Go grind and chase it, don't lose it.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gents? You already know what it is, man. Welcome to the Respect My Blueprint podcast. This is your host, your Blueprint Mastermind, where we highlight the blueprint of successful entrepreneurs across all industries. And today we got another entrepreneur in the batter's cage, okay? And this man here is, he's going to share the secrets of, a lot of people know the story of in life you got to climb the ladder, right? We all start at the bottom and everything like that, climbing up the ladder. But what we're going to learn today is the secrets of climbing the wealth ladder, right? The wealth ladder. And, this is going to be truly inspiring for a lot of the viewers here. We have world-renowned coach as well as investor. We're going to tap into the elements of getting into the world of investing. So we have none other than Andre Volsi, brother. How are you doing today?
Whoa, I'm doing great. First and foremost, I'm going to say this. This is the guy that I want for my eulogy, because you can't do it no better than that, man.
Well, I can say I have a little bit of experience under my belt, but that's okay. I appreciate it, though. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
All right, good. Well, you know what? First off, let's hope I am not the person that's at your eulogy, because guess what? You have a lot of good things to hit the world with, man.
All right.
All right, and of course, I want to shout out to all my IUCN brothers out there. We got another Zoe in the building. So today's episode is definitely going to be special for all the Haitian Americans out there to learn about Mr. Andre. So, Andre, first off, if you could share with the audience, who the hell are you, bro?
Whoa.
Yeah,
okay.
tell us who you are.
Look, I'm going to say this. I'm nobody and somebody at the same time. So, matter of fact, let me do this. Let me just walk you through my journey, because I love the fact that we connected in regards to us having the same heritage and background.
Right.
Let's start at the beginning. My name is Andre J. Volsi. With a name like that, I had to be from somewhere other than.
That is some Caribbean, yeah.
So that's it. My parents touched down here in the 80s. In the 80s, South Florida was it's a lot different than what it was.
Absolutely.
It was the land of the cocaine
Cowboys, yes.
Popping your head left and right. You can't go to the mall. You name it.
Yeah.
So imagine immigrants coming from Haiti. You land on the shores of South Florida. You're just trying to make it. And then it's this chaos here.
Right.
So first and foremost, my parents instilled 3 core principles in myself.
Out the gate.
Yeah. Number one, it was more than 3, but 3 was all I could hold on
that
to.
stuck on to you. Right. I got you. All right.
Number one is this. Anybody that, matter of fact, since I'm speaking with those, my parents taught me first out the gate in regards to investing about the power of leveraging. And what I mean by that is this.
Wow.
There's something called ESSO, and I'll break it down for our
man.
English.
He just struck a nerve. A few of the engineers in there shaking their head. Okay, yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know if you got burnt on it, but I'm sorry, man. It's been good to my people.
Okay.
So what it's called is a savings pool. What a savings pool is this. A group or community get together. You guys agree on a certain dollar figure that you guys are going to pitch into a pool every week. And as many people that's in that pool it goes one merry-go-round.
Right.
So my parents were basically migrant farmers. They would get on the bus in Miami, get bused down to Homestead, pick crops to, they couldn't anymore, till the sun was beating down on them. get back on a bus, and then get bus back to Miami.
Right.
It wasn't a very lucrative job. So when they got into the savings pool, and a month's time, they accumulated their yearly salary because that's how many people was in that.
What's
savings
involved
pool.
in it?
Yeah,
right.
in that pool. So they happened to be lucky and be one of the ones that were in the front of the line. Boom. So
That was a leverage that they
yeah,
needed.
that was
Gotcha.
basically how they leveraged. So imagine instead of you working all year, saving every penny, somebody gave you a year's salary and say, go do something with it. What my parents chose to do was they went in, bought a property, bought
Wow.
our first family home.
Interesting.
So
Interesting. Okay.
right out the gate, credit score, whatever, not much income, but because they had that cash, cash is king. Like, hey, the credit ain't looking too good.
Yeah.
You work where? Picking crops.
Oh, okay.
Like, here you go.
Let me get that cash. We'll talk. Okay. Yeah.
Real talk. So boom, right out the gate, I learned the power of leveraging.
Okay.
So, and to this day, my dad is gone, but my mom has $1 million real estate portfolio. So
Beautiful.
imagine
Right.
that.
Started off back in the 80s with one.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because back in the 80s, it wouldn't be too hard to, see somebody bringing in cash. It was the cocaine cowboys days and everything like that, right?
Yeah,
so it was just like, just bring the money in.
So two people coming from the fields, like, here you go.
Right.
Like,
Let's do it.
all right. That ain't no different. We ain't seen nothing different than this before. So that's number one.
Okay.
Number two, and this is an important lesson, is the power of not forgetting your tribe or bring your tribe with you.
Yeah.
As a Haitian immigrant, look, somebody touches ground first. they
Open
work
the
their
door
butt-
for the rest.
Yeah, they go like, yo, don't worry. I'm going to go through the door, and then I'm going to bring all of y'all with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I say tribe and not family because your tribe is handpicked. Family are people that you're born with. You're like, man, look, I don't really like this joker.
He only come around for the reunions.
Yeah, that's it. He probably come through, take 3 plates of grill, and he's out
And
the
that's
door.
it. He out of there. Yeah.
So, especially as we grow into adult, it's important that we pick the right tribe. And I believe in bringing your tribe with you, because there's no point in you being up and then everybody that is surrounding you, they're scraping the bottom.
Good point. Very valid
So-
point. Right.
That's a very important lesson that I learned from my parents. And third, and it wraps around with the first one, is your life can change in a short amount of time. So as soon as my parents obtained this home, boom, they started renting out rooms in there. Boom. So right off the jump, now the income that they were getting in the fields wasn't enough. Now it was being supplemented
By real estate.
By real estate.
Right.
So that tells me within the span of 30 days, imagine going from being a field worker, living with your mom, boom, your kids not having their own bedroom to kids got their own bedroom. I got some extra bedrooms. Let me start renting out to people. Boom. They're giving me
Life-changing at that point,
life-changing money. So those 3 core values let me know, like, look, if no matter the odds against you,
Right.
if you play the game, chess, not checkers, anybody, especially in this country, anybody could get to the mountaintop.
Oh, of course. I always say it that, it's all about applying knowledge to life, right? So obviously the wisdom that your parents was able to pass down to you, you was able to apply it to life, which now, have you becoming the successful investor that you are, right? So you started off, with your, like, a very similar story. Like my mom and dad came here, I was born in 81, not 70s. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm giving my age out to y'all. Okay. But they came here and, fought their way through, of course, having us go through the grind to, of course, eventually being the men that we are today. Right. But you, I'm sorry I interrupted. I want you to finish your story. So, you learned those 3 core values, and then eventually, I'm assuming you took that along with you as you went through, high school, and now, if I see here, you're also a college grad.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and if you could highlight that there.
Okay, so most immigrants know this.
Damn.
Is this in our parents' mind? There's only like 3 or 4 professions. Doctor, lawyer, engineer.
That is true. If you're and if you're a female nurse.
Nurse. There
Yes.
you go. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's it. There ain't nothing else. Period.
So, number one, I started on the wrong foot because I was very creative. So,
Right.
boom, I'm an artist in high school. So I'm like, man, I'm ready to do this art thing. And my mom gave me a dose of reality. I would never forget it. Nowadays, they would be like, oh, you know what? That's toxic. She crushing your dream. But I'm going to tell you this. The world was a lot different then than it is now. I can't
Understood.
throw my stuff on social media and somebody discover me and start to rock with you.
Good point. Okay,
Yeah,
good
so
point. Right.
we have to look at things through the lens of how they were, not how they are right now.
That's true.
So,
I mean, how they are
yeah.
versus how they were. Right.
Yeah. So, boom. Tell my mom I want to go to art school, Savannah's School of Arts up in Georgia.
Right.
Look at the tuition. She hit me with that jargon like,
I ain't paying for this. Yeah. Like, hold on, you tripping? Yeah.
So I did some soul searching. I was like, boom. But the words that she said to me was this: like, most artists
Mm-hmm.
die broke. You know.
Wow.
And at the time, most artists do. We're not talking about the 3 or 4 that made it.
Right.
Most artists die broke, and if their work is something to grab onto, their kids or their grandkids are the ones that benefit
benefits
for that,
from it.
or somebody who bought their work early on, threw it in a cloak closet, and then was like, "Oh man, do you know this is a Basquiat?" You like,
Like, yeah, okay.
okay.
After 60, 70, 100 years later,
Yeah.
right?
So
I feel
when
you.
she said that, I was like, "Damn, she look." I didn't want to go like this. You know what? I'm gonna prove her right. I was like, all right. So I need to come up with an alternative plan.
Mm-hmm.
My alternative plan was going to the military. So, and funny enough is my mother wanted no part of me going to the military.
Yeah, that's really a dramatic shift right there. You know, it's like, okay, to go from artist to go ahead and hold up guns and shoot bad guys.
Yeah. Hey. So that just lets you know. In my wheelhouse, I'm real versatile.
Okay, that's what's up. All right. Which, you know what? Before you begin that story, I always came under the belief that every young man should end up going through the School of Hard Knocks, where there's only 2 institutions that usually teach that, which is the Armed Forces and, sadly, prison. You know, because they teach you discipline. They teach you how to be able to take care of yourself as a man and and be able to teach you core principles and things like that. A lot of people, of course, on the prison sense, end up, falling on habitual habits that got them in there. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, they still teach you some of the core principles that the armed forces teach you, which you're about to share now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And actually, you're right in the sense. What most people need to realize, especially young people, you're gonna follow somebody's rules. Is whether you're gonna follow it in there.
I mean, listen, man.
Out,
blind ain't leading the blind.
Yeah.
Somebody gotta,
Yeah, you're gonna follow somebody's rules,
Right.
somewhere along the line. Unless you come into a bag and then you just live
do your thing.
Yeah, do your thing. So, chose the armed forces, and my school of thought at the time was, look, I get to travel. I get the benefits in regards to school. On my off time, I'll, do my little art thing and find which path works well for me.
Right.
The path that worked well for me after, going through somebody's war was this. I got out and decided, like, you know what? I want business to be my thing. Because,
Wait, so you actually been through one of the wars? Which one?
The Iraq War.
The Iraq War,
Man, that
okay.
thing drug on for so long, there was a decade of people that been through that war.
Oh, Lord, yeah,
So-
okay. Say less, but go ahead.
So, in regards to that,
Uh-huh.
I get out of the military, and I start going to college, racking up community college, boom, boom,
Right.
and still searching for my path. As I'm doing that, I will never forget this. I have 2 jobs at the time. I'm going to school, and I remember being a security guard. Matter of fact, when I was walking up in the building, the company merged with another company, Allied Barton. Shout out to Allied Barton.
No, that's what's up. Okay. Listen, free advertisement for y'all. Okay,
Yeah,
y'all do right by us. Come
Yeah.
on.
So, boom, I'm the security. I remember being on my post and working with a gentleman named Justin. Shout out to Justin. And he comes up to me big old Android phone, big screen. Back then it was like he had a TV in his pocket.
Right.
So, I'm on my shift trying not to fall asleep, and then he goes like this, look at this wedding that I shot. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He goes, man, I made like $2,000 last Saturday. I was like,
oh, bingo. Yeah. Yeah, he pulled out the Creole on y'all, man. Y'all know it's real when he does that.
I was like, hey, say what now? He's like, yeah, man. I was like, yo. And literally, at the time, that was almost a month worth of salary. So I was like, oh, man. So I'm engaged now. So he's telling me, yeah, oh, man, I got this camera. I went and did this. This is how I did it. So while he's telling me this, I am literally mapping it out in my mind like, all right, how am I going to replicate what this guy is telling me? So as soon as I go home, I jump onto the Secretary of State website, boop, look for, come up with a little funky name, make a logo, register a business, go on eBay, had good credit, boom, and buy some
stationary
gear.
stuff and stuff.
No,
right.
I bought camera gear.
Right, okay.
I wasn't playing. I went and
You went all in,
bought a Canon T2i. And anybody who knows the Canon T2i, the Canon series, knows how long ago that was. I was like, all right, boom, I bought
So what? Now you go into photography?
Straight out the gate.
Right. Okay.
So I jump on the Craigslist. A couple of days later, the state goes like this: you're a real business, stamped, sealed, and delivered. Boom, boom. Jump on the Craigslist, put myself out there, and then boom, book a wedding. My first wedding for I think like.
Wait, are you still in college at this point?
Oh yeah,
still in college.
Yeah, still in college.
Right. Okay.
So
now, but the military's done.
The military's done.
Right. Okay.
So boom, I come out and I tell my guy Justin next Saturday, hey man, I started a wedding photography company. He was like, what the heck? He was like, when did you get into photography? I was like, last Saturday.
I mean, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
So I start this wedding photography company. Boom. Company starts booming.
Right.
It gets to the point where I hire this guy.
Wait, how? Oh, okay, hold on. Let's step back a little bit here because you lost me, so I know you lost a few people out there. Okay, so you just started it a week ago. You already talking about it's booming, and you hired somebody. How long?
So this is what people don't realize: the power of leverage. Because this gentleman started the company and he used his own funds. He was only able to grow exponentially.
Right.
Myself, I went, advertised, and what I did was I leveraged other people's skills. There are different platforms where photographers put themselves out there. So I would hit the photographer up like, hey, man, do you want to work with me? Like, yeah, submit your portfolio. Boom. Sending me banging pictures. So I'm like, all right. Now I go and get some advertising dollars. There's different sites, Wedding Wire, The Knots. Put their stuff on there.
Right.
Like,
I mean, there's no Facebook or IG at this point or nothing like that.
So leveraging their skills in order to get myself contracts. Get contracts, boom, and I'll go like this. Hey, what's your price, man? Oh, I'll do it for $1,500. Like, yo, our packages started like $3,000. All right, boom, secure. Here you go, my boy. Matter of fact, here's a little extra, man. Make sure you show up early. You do a good job.
Boom. Okay. All right.
And you get it.
So, hold on. So, just to fast forward a bit, because I want to get into some of the good meat and potatoes, right? So, so you start the photography business and everything like that, right? Now, I'm assuming you're like in your
early 20s.
Early 20s, right?
Yeah.
So now you are accredited and accomplished and everything like that. So how did you get from, if you could give us in a quick point of view, how did you get from the photography to your accomplishments right now?
Okay. The photography was the groundwork. And what I mean by that, it showed me like, yo, you could literally, somebody could be an expert in the field. And if you come in and you use the power of leverage, you use the power, like Justin was my guy.
The same principles that your parents taught you.
Your tribe, and also your life could change in a short amount of time.
Right.
You could really blow anything up.
Right,
so I was like,
okay,
right,
dope.
Boom. Photography company, we're doing 6 figures. Next thing you know, boom, 200,000, almost 300 back. I'm like, yo, all right.
And you just fell onto this business, like literally. Like, come on now.
Yo, he told me about it on a Saturday. The next Saturday, the company was formed.
Right.
So I started looking into acquiring companies because one thing that I noticed about
Mergers and acquisitions.
the photography company is I started a division where it was photo booth because photo booths were popping at the time.
Right.
So I was like this. Initially, I would go and set everything up just to see what it's like before I hired out. And I was like, man, this is a lot of work. And I was like this, man, what if I could get a company without me having to do the groundwork? Because it takes a while to build a company up, you know?
Right.
So I was like this. I wonder if there's people selling companies out there. I jump on my friend's Craigslist again. Shout out to Craigslist. I know you get a bad reputation with all that, but you know what? You've always been good to me.
Hey, man, we ain't messing with y'all. Y'all don't cut no checks around here, man. So let's keep it pushing.
So I jump on there and find out that there are businesses for sale there. So I see a particular business, which happens to be a barbershop in
Dope.
California. I drive like 2 hours to go see it that same day. My girl's like, yo, what are you doing? Man, there's this business for sale. I want to go put eyes on it. She was like, what? Have you talked to him? I was like, no, I just want,
Just wanna see what's up, yeah.
I want to go in and scout, and instantly I started doing the math. I'm like, damn, they got like 12, 13 brothers in here counting. Boom, boom, boom. And all right, boom, boom. I was like, if they have a booth rent model, this is probably how much I'll get. If they have boom, and I looked at how much they were selling it for, I was like,
No brainer.
yeah, I came back and told, yo, we buying a bar. She was, what? like that quick? She was like, yo, where you gonna get the
For
money
photographer to head barber now. Stop playing. Let's do it.
in like 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So I meet up with the guys, and boom, it's an older man and his son
Right.
selling the business. Nigerian. Shout out to my Nigerians out there. So we put the paperwork together.
Right.
I go and get the funding to secure the shop, and I go and get funding to renovate the shop. So it was kind of, look, it was
And
kind of
this is all off of Craigslist. Just
Hey,
the Craigslist
man.
ad. Okay, go
Hey,
ahead.
if the numbers make sense, they make sense.
Okay.
So, boom. In 7 days, I renovate the shop. We go from a place that looks like, hey, there might be a couple of bullet holes in the wall to urban, classy.
Hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with no bullet holes. You know what I'm saying? You can hang things on them. You know what I'm saying?
We go nice, sleek, classy. I went and got leather couches. The whole there was another barbershop in Palm Springs that went out of business. Got a U-Haul, one of those long boys that could fit like a house, and hired
Loaded
some
it up,
guys,
right.
loaded it up, drove it all the way to L.A.
Right.
The whole 9 yards. So when stuff like that happened, people start asking questions like, "Yo, bro, how are you? Are you a barber?" I was like, "Nah," and he was like, "This. So why are you buying a barbershop?" I was like, "Yo, you think the dude that owns McDonald's freaking is
Good point.
A cook?"
Absolutely. You know, that's the definition of being a serial entrepreneur, right? You know, and also even the aspect of mergers and acquisitions. You just getting in as an investment, treat it as that, do what you need to do, and flip it. That's it,
Yeah.
you know?
So basically, I sat down and I showed them the numbers. Like, look, after these guys paid me, within the first 6 months, I'm in the clear. So if I own this business for like 5 years, everything after that is profit. Imagine you pay for something and you buy. Imagine if you bought a car, the first 6 months, boom, it's paid off, and now you can rent out the car for the next 10 years, and it's all profit.
Right. Okay.
So
okay.
When that happened, different people started coming up, and I replicated. I turned around and went and bought a salon.
Wow.
yeah.
So now you're rolling up the businesses now.
Went and bought a nail and hair salon. Boom, Glendale, California. Same principle. They're like, do you know anything about? Like, look, I don't have to know anything about the business. I'm looking at the numbers. You put somebody in place. You
That's
let them
it.
do their thing, and then boom. So as I'm starting to do this, different people are approaching me like, yo, can you show me? So, and this is where reality set in.
Right.
Everybody is not like you. And what I mean by that is you may have a brother, cousin, friend, uncle, whoever. They may see your success. You can't just copy it and hand it to them.
Yeah, it's tailor-made. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody's different.
So I ran into that where I sat down and I realized like, oh, you can't go down the same route that I went because your credit's not up to snuff.
Right.
So I was like, all right. So that's how I ended up started helping people with credit. Like, all right, yo, we got to get your credit up to snuff because how you going to get 30 racks, 40 racks, 50 racks to do this if your credit ain't.
The credit is looking crazy.
Yeah. So next thing you know, I'm in the credit repair business without even knowing.
So wait a minute. Okay, hold on, man. They used to talk about Jamaicans, but you really put in a whole different twist to us where you're talking about Haitians. We're like 5-6 jobs now, man. You ain't even playing.
Jobs and a business are two different
Okay,
things.
yeah. You know, okay. I give you that. That's a saving grace right there. Okay, so, all right. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions I want to get to here. So you fast forward to now, okay. So you're a serial entrepreneur, which you've leveraged all of the core principles that your family has taught you. You've took it into the business world and everything like that, and been able to leverage into now real estate, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me ask you a question, how? I know you're saying that, okay, you started off with the one business, the photography, and moved on to the barber, the salon, and then the credit repair, and my goodness, to a whole portfolio, right? But what was the true mindset you had when you was onto like the second or third business? You know, because obviously momentum is rolling at this point, right? You know, it's like, was you a little bit intimidated? Because, listen, you just woke up and said, I want to do a photography studio. And then next thing you know, you just Craigslist said, I wanted to do nail salon or the barbershop. So was it a little bit of intimidating at that point?
I'm going to say no. And the reason is maybe because I didn't know better. And number two, and you're probably going to find this hilarious.
Right, go ahead.
As a teenager, my mom would always have entrepreneur things that she wanted to do. Like, yo,
really?
Let's go buy a whole bunch of shoes, packaging them up, send them to Haiti. Me?
Oh man! See, first of all, yeah. Quick pause. You know, I gotta shoot a shot at my mom because I understand exactly what you're talking about. Whereas my mom, every weekend she would go to like yard sales and get clothes, and we would sell it at the swap shop or sell it to Haiti. We would call it, selling the pepe.
Yeah.
But go ahead,
So, and funny enough, at the time I didn't know I was absorbing these qualities. Me, as a teenager, I didn't want no part of that because I'm like, man, that's going to eat up my weekend.
Exactly. Yeah. Then on Sunday, they want us to go to church, man. Like, golly.
Yeah, so to me, I was just like trying to, matter of fact, my mom had an opportunity to buy a cantina, basically like a cafeteria right across from my school. And she was like, look, during break, you can come and help me out. I was like, man, get out of here. She was like,
hold on, man. There's child labor laws out here, man. Stop playing.
Look, I didn't want no part of that. But interestingly enough, as an adult now when I saw those opportunities, it was like, bam, bam, bam. Because my parents was like, look, there's this opportunity. We can do this. We can do that. To me, I was just like.
They was planting the seed in you the whole time, pretty much.
I didn't know. At that time, I was like, man, y'all doing too much. Man. Yeah. Because I just looked at it. That was work for myself. Because, I don't know about any other communities, but in the Haitian community, you ain't getting paid.
Stop playing, man. Like, what? That's why I say there's child labor laws out there, man. Them Haitians don't play, man. Like, they will work you 16 hours and expect you to wake up the next day and do it again.
Yeah. So that's where that came from. And funny enough, there were many opportunities in between there.
Right.
I'll tell you this, and I'll quickly move on. There is a festival called Taste of Soul in Inglewood.
California, okay.
Inglewood, California.
Right.
Where it's a festival and there's black community named Inglewood. They shut down the street, and they have a whole bunch of food vendors, parades, the whole 9 yards. I'm not from California, so I never heard about it. But I remember 2 weeks before the event, it came across my radar. I was like, wow, man, I bet you that's a bag. Went home to my girl. I was like, yo, we starting a catering company. She was like, what?
Get the hell up out of here, man. What you got going on, man?
Yeah,
like,
she was like, what? I was like, yo, I need you to go study the logistics, see what permits we need, but boop, I'm going to go and secure the funding. And literally, we went through the whole 9 yards, went with the fire inspector, what kind of tents we needed, bought the tents with the American Express credit card, and then boom, that weekend, one of the best tents out there, and I named the catering company after my mom, man. Boom, boom, boom. When they got a whole work crew, the whole 9 yards,
right,
knocked out the festival, and then I'm like, man, that was a great accomplishment. And then she was just looking at me like, dude, what the heck is
Like, what
wrong?
you got going on, man? Like, for real. Yeah.
So when you're a serial entrepreneur and you see opportunities, and I'm gonna say this, I made a bag that weekend. Had a lot of fun, learned a lot of things in regards to catering. You know, from our community, we know how to cook. So
You know what? It's a better question should ask you what type of business you're not involved in. That could maybe shorten up the episode a little bit here. But you know what? What we're gonna do, what we're gonna do here though, is that I want to ask you a very interesting question because now you've landed onto real estate.
actually, mergers and acquisition and real estate.
And real estate, okay. But I want to touch on, I have a real estate question for you because if I'm not mistaken, we've had a couple of real estate previous guests here. One of the past guests we had, he's really was preaching how about real estate, even in this market, is a good investment. You know, how although inflation is high and everything like that, real estate is still a sound investment and everything. And the reason why I say that, I challenged him on the show where I say that because the feds are, rising the interest rates and everything like that, and also, like you mentioned earlier, we're in a different era now than back in the 80s, where back in the 80s, home ownership was the route to wealth in this country.
Okay.
Home ownership.
Okay.
Right. But now, as you can see, nowadays in the day of digital information, financial freedom, serial entrepreneurship, or just even entrepreneurship in general is the route to, that American dream, quote unquote. So I just wanted to ask you, what's your thoughts about the landscape of real estate right now with the economic situations the country is in?
I believe he's absolutely right. And the reason I say that is I'm going to change your whole thought pattern on that.
Okay.
You're saying right now.
Right now, right.
What if I told you you can get real estate, but you could get them at the interest rates from 2 years ago, from 5 years ago, from 6 years ago? What would you say?
I would say you're some type of Ponzi scheme or something like that. I'll be like, yeah, come on, man. We need to go ahead and check this dude out, man.
Okay.
Feel me? But but I'm gonna take it for face value and say, okay, you can make it happen.
So check this out, everybody, and I want you guys to look this up.
Okay.
There is a strategy to acquiring real estate that's called subject to. And basically, how it works is this.
Hold on, man. Y'all think I ain't gonna write this down? Y'all tripping, man.
Yeah.
Come on, subject to. Okay. You say not area one, subject to, not area 52. Okay.
So T.O., so the way it works is like this. Have you ever driven around a neighborhood and saw a bandit sign? And what bandit signs are those little signs. Sometimes they're yellow, sometimes they're white.
Right.
And then they'll say buy cash, buy homes for cash, things like that. Yeah. So what those bandit signs are there doing is there are people who unfortunately can't pay their bills.
Right.
So
fell on hard times.
They fell on hard times.
Right.
So those people that fell on hard times, they probably acquired that property when the interest rates were at 2%, were at 3%.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
so they have those interest rates.
That low rate.
Yeah, at low rate locked in. And then they have equity because it's been some period of time since they've refinanced. They haven't been able to pull the money out. You name it.
Whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
right.
Whatever the case may be. So you have a low interest rate and you have equity. So you find those sellers, you approach them and you tell them, you come up with them like, look, hey, Ubai Pedi Kaila.
He did it again, y'all.
Yo. Basically, you let them know, like, look.
You're going to lose this mug. Yeah.
You're going to lose the house anyway.
Right.
So what I'm coming here to do is this. I want to put a little money in your pocket, and let's work out a deal.
Take this pressure off your head and everything like that.
Yeah, because if I tell you, hey, you know what? Sell me this cup of coffee for 50 cents.
Uh-huh.
Or somebody's going to come in here 5 minutes after I walk out and throw it away anyway. It's better to make 50 cents off of it than let somebody throw it away.
Throw it away anyway, right.
So what happens is this. You and that seller hash out an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
You guys go down. They put your name on the deed to the home. You lace them up with some money. They have to vacate the home. You come in now. That property is yours.
Legally yours.
Legally yours.
Right.
You catch up on the payments that they're behind on.
Right.
Now you're making payments at 2% interest rate. 3%
Oh,
interest
wow. Okay. And you got yourself a property that, you maybe have to refurbish up a little bit, whatever the case may be. But, hey, you still have it at a prime rate.
Yeah, you have it at a prime rate, and there's equity in there. And now if you come in there and you refurbish it and you raise the value,
that's more equity
in there.
Yeah.
So seeing that, is real estate a good?
Yeah, okay. The way listen, the real estate guys, they out here, they pushing back. You pushing back, and as you should, But let me ask. Okay, quick question, and then we're gonna switch gears a little bit as far as because I want to challenge you on this, right? And I see the twist because, we're referencing home ownership back in the day, and we're referencing real estate in the world of investments, right? So two different animals we're talking about here. But the problem is back in the day, the government as well as the mainstream institutions was pitching home ownership as the investment. So it's like, hey, get the house with the white picket fence and everything like that. And, work 30 years, get a job, pay your mortgage, retire. And then, hey, when you're all said and done, that is the lifestyle you should be living here in America, right? Again, a lot of people, after they seen with COVID, just say, hey, that's not a pill I want to swallow right there, So a lot of people, especially with the rise of, overnight millionaires, past few years, we've seen a dramatic rise of overnight millionaires with cryptocurrency and online trading and things like that. People just are not subscribing to that old model as you could even, maybe I want your thoughts about it. People not even viewing education the same, where college, higher education is now on a decline. A lot of more people are subscribing to YouTube University than Harvard University, right? So, with this dramatic shift and everything like that, do you still believe real estate is still that prime investment right now?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to live somewhere. You might as well get the benefit of living with something that you own. And the reason I say that is this. As I would love to say that everybody out there is educated, is savvy enough to, come up with a course, a digital product.
Oh, everybody and their mama got one, man. Stop playing, come on, man. Everybody got a course, bro.
So not many people are able to monetize their passion and their skill to bring a substantial income.
Big difference,
yeah,
right.
So real estate is something where, look, somebody can help you set it and forget it. You purchase it, you make your payments, and then, more times than not, you're going to get a return on the money that you put in there.
Right, okay.
So,
as long as it's a good deal, I'm assuming.
Nah, it don't even have to be a good deal.
Just get involved. Just get in the game.
Most of the time, look, if you're somebody that you get in some place and you stay in that place 30, 40 years, look, it could have started as a bad deal, but the price only is going to go up. Look, I could have sold you, let's say, 20 years ago. I sold you this coffee for 50 cents. And you're like, man, I overpaid for it. But what is the price of coffee now?
Yeah, a lot more than 50 cents. Yeah, absolutely.
So, look, people are going to outlive some of those mistakes that they made in regards to, oh, man, I didn't get the best banging deal. Look, you got a place. You're able. The price of where you live, if you can lock that in for as low as possible,
you come out on top.
You're gonna come out on top.
Okay.
Especially let's look at South Florida. In the last 5 years,
everything's prime real estate in South Florida.
Yeah, but
I mean, come on.
Imagine if you went and got something for $1,200 5 years ago.
Right.
You was like, man, you paying $1,200. Now, tell me.
Yeah, I mean, damn, they're going to start selling the sidewalks out here soon. It's crazy.
So, and we have to realize this. The price of when it comes to employment, your salary is never gonna outpace real estate in that point where like, oh, you know what, I
Good
can
point.
rent.
That's a good point.
So for most people, not getting into real estate is a crucial mistake. And I'll use Inglewood, California as an example.
Right.
I remember the Los Angeles Rams. You know, they moved from St. Louis, Missouri,
Over to you guys, right?
over to Los Angeles. That community, you know, had relatively low rent for 30 years. As soon as they said the Rams are coming and they're building a multi-billion-dollar stadium over there.
It changed overnight.
Next thing you know, landlord came and started knocking on the door and was like, yo, hey, man, that $800 rent is going to be $2,400 as soon as you're
Yeah, talk about gentrification, bro.
Hey.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Woo!
I remember reading a story about a man who'd been in a particular apartment for like 20 or 30 years. And
Right.
he was like, how could they do this to me? And in my mind, and this is going to make me sound heartless. I'm like, bro, in 30 years, you didn't freaking lock down anything? Like,
Good point. You know, which that's a good segue into your now discussing your wealth ladder, which, you know, which by the way, you know, just to give you a bit of context into, you know, my journey, right? After doing a long stretch, you know, I got out and I walked into the pandemic in early 2020, and it was at that point where, you know, being lost in the sauce, I was like, okay, I need to figure out what I need to do, which I got into credit repair, right? Like you did at one point, okay? So I'm in the world of credit repair, and you know how the game is. You know, credit repair is although it's very exhilarating because we helping out our people, we helping people in financial and credit literacy and getting their credit on point. It can be draining and taxing because, you know, you got the customer service issues. You got to be able to go ahead and stay on top of the letters. Everything is on a timeline and everything. So I say that because, okay, I had success in the credit repair business until eventually today, you know, obviously, you know, we have the podcast, but in tandem with that, we have, you know, a tech company, our credit building company, Uptrend, right? So, you know, I want to hear from your perspective, you know, how important it is in building this wealth ladder and what it means to you and when you came to design the wealth ladder, and especially in our community because, you know, one final thought I want to say here. You know, I'm very passionate about personal finance and credit literacy. The reason being is because, you know, what separates our credit building platform from every other credit platform, like Credit Karma and every other credit monitoring service, they give you your credit score. We, in our platform, offer you your credit grade from A to F, right? So it's an easier way for people like ourselves, immigrants, first-generation immigrants who come to this country to understand the game of credit. Right. So because a lot of people may not know what a 650 represents, but they'll know what a C+ is. Right.
and you know those Haitians are
Right. So to get your point of view, I want to see, again, to really reiterate the question, you know, how much of an impact does the wealth ladder and just financial literacy in general means to you?
Oh, financial literacy is imperative. And to be honest, as talented and as creative as we are, it's something that we still are behind on.
Absolutely. Well, us, our entire culture as African Americans, but go ahead.
Yeah. Matter of fact, most Americans in general are behind
Period.
in regards
Big facts.
to financial literacy. When you're in these different rooms and you're making these moves, credit is not something that they talk about because it's already assumed. If you're in this room,
Right.
credit. And sometimes when I go back into the rooms with my people and they're talking about credit, to me it's the equivalent of, you know, you just came out of William Shakespeare poetry reading, and then you go in another room and somebody's like, man, I learned my ABCs. And you're like, wow, the
Big
gap,
difference. Yeah, big gap.
The gap is huge. But for myself, the wealth ladder started with the understanding that, look, we need to shore up the floor. And credit is the floor. Credit is the minimum.
The blueprint. That's the blueprint. There you go.
So this is how the wealth ladder works, folks. Number one, excellent credit. Not okay. And I'm going to use his model. Look, we need you to have A++ credit.
Right.
Not the B, not the C. And matter of fact, maybe that's how they should do credit. Because sometimes somebody be like, oh, I got a 6.8. I got good credit. What do you got? 6.8. I'll be like, nah.
Yeah, what is that? Exactly. You tell us 680, they be like, oh, that's good. I'm like, no, that's like a B- or something like that.
No, I say that's a C. and the matter of fact, I even say that's a D. And the reason I say that's a D is
wow,
like this.
man, he's critical. Go ahead.
Wait, man. You remember those tough teachers more than you remember those easy teachers.
That is good point. Good point.
And the reason I say that's like a D is this. In some schools, you may be able to pass with a D. In some schools, they're like, man, get your butt out of here. And the reason I say that is if you go apply for something and you start sweating, then you know that's not really a good score.
Right. Good point. Good point. Good point.
You like, did I get, you start looking to the left, you start looking to the right, you sweat. If it was a good score, you'd have been like, bro, I know I got
I'm going to smash this. Yeah, it ain't nothing. Yeah,
it ain't
exactly.
nothing. So you really, in your heart of hearts, you know that's not a good score. So that's
good point.
And when you tell clients or students that, at first there's a little pushback like this. They under their breath, but let's get you to a great score. That's number one.
Right.
Credit is the foundation.
That's the floor right there. Right.
Number two is funding. Funding is imperative because, look, it's nice to have great credit. But
you need access to capital.
Yeah,
Come on now. Right. Especially banks' money.
Yeah, OPM, other people's money.
Right.
So we go and get you funding so that way you could use my parents' key principle. Leverage. And what I mean by that is once we go and get you funding, now you can leverage it to get to the third step in my wealth ladder is mergers and acquisitions. And the reason why I believe strongly in buying other businesses is this. Everybody doesn't have the wherewithal to start a business from scratch. There are so many pitfalls, regulations, things you have to do with the city. I didn't know I needed this permit. I went and got the wrong contractor. There's a lot of potholes where you could lose your money. But somewhere out there is somebody that's already done all that. And you can just slide
on in
for their hard work. Case in point, we were talking about real estate.
Right.
If you said, hey, you know what, Andre? I'm going to build a house. And I said, I'm going to buy a house. Who's going to have a house to sleep, a bed to sleep in tonight?
The person that bought the house.
Okay.
Right.
You, depending on what city, what county you're in, what state, there may be permits, crooked contractors.
Something holding you back.
Something, whatever. If you're in California, you got to do some type of environmental study and make sure that a specific grasshopper isn't on that plot of land.
Come on, man. Hey, listen, man. There's a lot of environmentalists out there, bro.
No knocking them. That's why, they got that. But I'm going to be sleeping comfortably.
Right, okay.
And maybe it takes you a year. Maybe it takes you 2 years. And let's say it takes you almost about 2 years. And I buy the house in 2018, and your house is about to be finished in like February 2020. And then, the pandemic's coming. I sell the house. And then I cash out. And you, right when your house is done, a catastrophe happens. You like, man, the price of the home went down because
XYZ.
Yeah, XYZ happened.
Right.
So there's a lot of pitfalls when it comes to starting something from scratch, especially if you haven't done it before. And I'm going to shout out this book. There's a book out there called Who, Not How. And what it basically teaches is this. Oftentimes we will be better served if we went and got a who instead of learning how to do something.
Wow. You know what? That's very a great point you made, because that's something just in our community we fail, a principle we fail to latch onto is that getting a mentor, right? Sometimes it's not about what you know, it's who you know that'll get you where you need to, right? Especially if you're trying to cut the line or be able to, like you said, if you don't want to subscribe to that 30-year pill, right, of that old school entrepreneurship, you want to be able to, tap into that 4 or 5 year or that overnight plan. It's about being able to surround yourself with the right individuals, right? So, and this crazy part about this, I've heard of a lot of influence, especially when you're in the personal finance space and the entrepreneurship space like we are, right? You attend these masterminds and these seminars and things like that, and these events where pretty much the strategy is the same, right? Get your credit on point. Once you get your credit on point, then you go ahead and leverage your credit to get business credit. Then once you get the business credit, you'll be able to leverage the business credit to go ahead and start your side hustle. And, you take that side hustle money to be able to get it to real estate. And then now you can get it to real estate you can get it to mergers and acquisitions, or some sort of combination of that aspect, right? So what I wanted to ask you, so that right there is funny because I'm not throwing any shade at it because, again, I preach that same model to my community. So what I want to ask you is, how was you able to go ahead and promote your blueprint, promote your wealth ladder, and which there's a second program we're going to talk to you. But how was you able to go ahead and go from the photo booth guy to now being the 6-7 figure guy that you're in right now? How was you able to accelerate it like that?
Oh well, I'm gonna say this: the way I was able to accelerate it and promotion is something I still need to become comfortable with. And I'll say this: look, a couple of years ago, I ain't want no part of the internet. Even though I ran companies, because
right,
you're like, oh man, that's social media.
You're more of a behind the camera guy.
Yeah, and then I realized at a certain point, man, that either you could be broke and private, or rich in public. And I was like, you know
what?
let me start.
My God,
Let me
okay.
start putting myself out there because let's be honest. In regards to myself, and this is not me. I went to school, when I got a master's, helped people out, this and that, and I was like this. I think I have some. No, not I think.
I know.
I have some value that I could bring to some people, especially when I started helping people around me, and the people around me like, boom, oh, you doing 6 figures? Oh, you in 7 figures now? You? I was like, all right, man.
There's something here.
And shout out to my guy, Herb, Mr. Success Navigator. He told me like, look, man. Your name is Andre Belichick. And I'm like, what? He's like, yo, you got 7 rings on your finger, man. Stop playing.
I like
that. Like, you need to start strutting your stuff. You need to start walking out there with the Super Bowl rings. So, matter of fact, if you're a truck driver and you're looking for a guy that's going to guide you, the guy who gave me my nickname, Mr. Success Navigator, shout out to you. But the best way I was able to promote myself realistically is by helping people, and their success is my success.
Building up your testimonials and your community and everything like that.
Like, yo, right. Who did you learn from? Who helped you get your first business? Who got you in the funding? Who got you in the credit? Who showed you how to make your first 6 figures? Who basically laid the blueprint for you to get your first 100K day? Like, who? Who the heck is this Andre cat? Like, boom, let me go see who this mogul up mindset guy is. And then slowly but surely, that's how it started to ramp up.
Wow. So how many people have you could comfortably say you've helped so far, or that's within your community?
I'll say this, and thank you, Herb, for telling me to start my stuff. Over $50 million funded to people in my community.
That's
listen. That's facts.
What? That's a real number there.
That's a real number.
That's a very eye-popping number. So, wow, so far you've been able to go ahead and impact individuals by bringing in over $50 million worth of funding, know. And you know what? That's crazy because, there's statistics out there. You guys can Google this if you don't believe me and everything. But, when it comes to businesses, minorities, we're not represented. We don't get access to capital. Right, which has been a major obstacle and roadblock for us for this point. Now, so you have built a tremendous program, have helped, brought over $50 million. Wow. So let me ask you a question. What's the next steps now for the Wealth Ladder? Because if I'm not mistaken, you also have another tremendous program that you're helping individuals out, which is called the RSF program, if I'm not mistaken, right?
So the RSF program is basically the precursor to the Wealth Ladder. And because I know in my community, what do we struggle with? We struggle with credit. So this is what the RSF program is: restore, structure, and fund. So basically, we help you restore your credit, structure your personal and business profiles, and we get you funding. So that way you can get into the room to start getting up to that wealth ladder. Because you ain't going to get into a room talking about wealth and generational wealth. And that's a big pet peeve of mine when people be sleeping on that generational wealth thing. Like, yo, what's your credit score? Oh, man, it's like 412. Like, man, if you don't get out of here. Man.
Get out of here. Yeah, like, come on now. Like,
come on. Be for real.
Right.
So the RSF program is basically how you're going to get into the door.
Right.
And
okay.
look, we've all been in that position where, look, I was up, now I'm down. But you don't have to stay down.
Okay. So now you've created this program, right? So if you could share a little bit more about this program, because I'm very intrigued on it. So it's restore,
structure, and fund.
And fund, right? So how long is this program, by the way?
So interestingly enough, it's technically a 6-month program, but you can graduate out of that program sooner. And what I mean by that is we all come in different steps in the ladder. You may come in with a 680. You just need me to get a couple of charge-offs, show you, basically educate you in regards to the credit process, educate you on how to build a business, how to structure it correctly, and get you funded.
The rest is history, right?
But if your man to the left comes in at a 412, look, like, hey, man, he's going to be held back a year. You go ahead and go get your cap and gown.
Right, okay. But, so it's different strokes for different folks, pretty much, right?
But we all going to be, each week we're on a Zoom. We're talking about different things.
Okay, so it's a group mastermind and everything like that, right?
Yeah, because as you know, solitary confinement doesn't help anybody. So,
big fact, yeah.
So
trust me, I know that.
When you at home studying and you don't understand something, if you don't got somebody to look to the left or to the right
that can help you and guide you,
what have I done for you?
That is true, right?
And basically, to be honest, you're not a good representation of my brand if somebody goes like, yo, how'd you get that business and get a 800 credit score? Man, some dude named Andre, I walked into the alley, he hit me over the head, and then he was like, here's your credit score and here's your business. Like, huh? I want you to be able to say, like, look, when I went to him, I had this amount of charge-offs, this amount of inquiries. My utilization was high. He worked with me to remove those discrepancies on my report, got my utilization. We came up with an action plan to lower my utilization. Boom. Once that happened, I went to the Secretary of State website, registered my business, went through the data points. When it did this, when it got funded, and then boom. Now, if somebody comes up to you and talking like that, you're going to be like, man, you
like what the heck? Yeah.
Yo, your boy brand new on us.
Okay, so with that being said, what is the end goal for the RSF program? Is it because you hear a lot of programs saying they want to get 1,000 people, mint 1,000 millionaires or get 1,000 people homes or things like that. So what's the end goal for the program?
You know what? I'm not going to put a cap and number on myself. The end goal is this.
Right.
I want everyone that I come in contact with and touch to be to the point where, matter of fact, there was a study that came out not too long ago and shout out to them, where Indian Americans.
Hold on, man. You got to tell us a story. Don't be saying shout out to them.
No,
go ahead.
No, because I can't remember the study, but Indian Americans are at the top in regards to income in America.
Man, they give that free check every month. Of course, man. Stop playing, bro. Man, stop.
Like I said, I want to get us to that point, and it's going to take a community. It's going to take us coming together.
Those 3 principles your parents taught you?
Those principles my parents get it. To be honest, the community is the most important aspect. We have to get out of that mindset that we can do it by ourselves. Because an army of one is an army of none.
I always say this, and if you watch past episodes, I'm going to repeat it again so you can sing it along. You can make $1 million for yourself, but you can't make it by yourself.
There you go. Look, and no disrespect to anybody out there, but you guys aren't Sylvester Stallone. You ain't Rambo. We ain't not gonna drop you somewhere and you're gonna take down the whole army by yourself.
Period. Period.
And the quickest way to get to $1 million is by partnering with a millionaire or partnering with somebody that's done it before. So you need a community. You can't do it by yourself. We need to throw that ego aside and realize, like, look, we all we got. Look,
Period. Big facts. Yeah, that's
coming
it.
to save us.
That's it. You know what? And you just dropped a very important gem as we're ready to wrap up the show, right? Is that I think it's ingrained in our DNA and in our blood that for us to have that crab in the barrel mentality because we've never had it for so long. You know, it's like when, you know, that's why you see, you know, whenever somebody within our community or in our culture gets a little bit of wealth, the first thing they do is they show off. Because, you know, we just never had it, right? And also it's within us that when, you know, somebody within our community makes it, you know, we get envious and jealous and things like that. So the reason why I say all of that is because you're right. One of the core principles to be able to get to the next level, again, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Proximity, the power of proximity, being around the right person or the right group of individuals can plant that seed to get you to the next step and everything like that. So with that being said, I want you to share in your final thoughts here, you know, as you've laid out your blueprint and everything like that, you know, I want to ask you a question. If you have one, you know, bit of strategy or one bit of advice, you know, particularly for the Caribbean community.
Woo!
Particularly for the Caribbean community, because I have a soft spot with you guys in the same boat here, right? First generation and everything like that. We're here in South Florida, beautiful South Florida. You can see the backdrop behind us. So you know this is the Mecca of the Caribbean culture down here. So if you can spread a good bit of a message for the culture here, down here, as far as the bit of advice to be able to get to that next level and build their blueprint, what would it be?
This is what I would tell. This is what I would say. I would say this. You know, we don't lack talent. We have more creative talent.
Damn right, man. Hold on, man. Let me talk my shit for a second, man. That man said some real shit right now, bro. See, now this is when I get out of character. Man, hey, Gene, put your hand down, bro. This is when I get out of character, bro. Damn right, man. Them Zoes be winning. We winning all the... Okay, all right. Let me stop. Go ahead.
So, this is the biggest thing. It's not the lack of knowledge that is holding us back, because we live in a day and age, no longer do you have to go into the library and look up in Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah, don't I?
It's the implementation. So, we need to bear down...
Of the knowledge.
Yeah, of the knowledge. Come to someone like this gentleman sitting across the table from me, the gentleman in the back, or myself, and get the fast track to success. That's what it's gonna be. And like I said, I want to. One of my guys said this, like, look, when I met you, one thing that I had to do is I had to submit. I've never heard a guy say that. He's like, I had to submit to you because I realized, man, I didn't have a quarter of the knowledge that you had. So when you told me, like, yo, I need you to get up at this time, I need you to be here, I need you to be on this flight, I need you to do this, I just said, yes, sir. And where I started at and where I am now is because I put my ego aside and said, like, yo, I'm rolling with Rush.
Bet. You know what? And I hope everybody here, with today's show and everything, with the amount of gems that you drop, if there's anything that anybody, one final point, Gene, I want to, we're going to title this show, the power of mentorship. Okay, the power of mentorship, because, like you just brought up a good point, to be able to fast track, because information is in the power of our hands, so we got to be able to go ahead and move alongside the speed of information. And to be able to do so, man, again, ain't nobody swallowing the 30-year pill no more, right? We're swallowing this overnight pill and the fast track pill. And to be able to do that, guys, listen, there's no resource better than tapping in with a mentor. And if you're looking to go ahead and build that wealth ladder, if a lot of you guys are stuck on that first level in the ladder, or you're afraid to get on that second and third step, tap in with Andre. Which, by the way, Andre, I'm not sure if you have a special value or offer you want to share with the community, but, if you do, I'm going to give you time to share that. But listen, one thing I can say, if you're looking to build that wealth ladder, again, especially for our immigrants out there that's struggling to be able to understand credit, to understand the principles your parents taught you, which was leverage, using other people's money, tap in with Andre, okay? Tap in with Andre. If you can't tap in with Andre, tap in with myself, and we can teach you the blueprints to be able to tap in with Andre. Maybe you need the blueprint to tap into the wealth ladder. You feel me? I like that. You feel me? So, but if there's any special offer, any final thoughts, anything special you want to share with the audience before we go, as far as what you got going on in the future, any events, any speaking engagements, any products, any services, or anything like that you want to share with the audience before we wrap up?
No worries. So check this out, folks. Tap in with me, Andre J. Volsi, on all platforms. And I want you to jump into my DMs and say blueprint. And if you do that, I'm going to have a special offer where I let you in the community and I let you see what the success ladder is. And we're going to get you started with that RSF program no matter where you're at. This has been an amazing opportunity. I've learned a lot. And you know what? Look, this is only the beginning.
Absolutely. Which again is very important, guys. If you're watching this video here, that you mentioned the word blueprint. Again, jump on his DMs, okay? Busy man here. Busy came in here spiffy and everything. I came with a regular T-shirt. He came in here, you feel me, he ain't playing. You feel me? So that lets you know he's about his business, but go ahead and hit him up in the DMs. Type in the word blueprint. Let him know that, again, you're a viewer of the show. So he'll know to take care of you. You know what I'm saying? If not, just let me know. Hit my DMs and be like, yo, Wes, I'm like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? I got it. You feel me? But, Andre, thanks for pulling up today, man. Listen, final thoughts as far as where can everybody follow you? Tell me, let them know. Instagram, Facebook, website.
All platforms. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Andre J. Volsi. On YouTube, I'm starting the channel. Well, the channel's up and running now.
Okay.
It's Mogul Up Mindset. Mogul, the word up, and mindset.
What?
I told people, look, I can make you a mogul if you up your mindset, man. I'm trying to get like the blueprint over here.
You heard that? You feel me? Okay, I'm rocking with that. I am definitely rocking with that. Listen, show support. We're going to include all the links in the bio, ladies and gentlemen. Also, definitely check out his Instagram. Show some support, and everything like that. This is what it's about, especially for all of my, again, Caribbean viewers out there. Come on, nous connais. Come on, man. Pas jouer avec nous, man. But, nonetheless, check out all past episodes, guys. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Amazon, and all that other good stuff and everything. Again, this is the show where you want to be able to go ahead and learn the elements of successful entrepreneurs, their blueprint, be able to go ahead and get to that next level. A lot of you guys are just stuck on getting started, getting out the gate, all right? That's the reason why we put this platform together for you. So, again, we can bring entrepreneurs. We can hear their blueprint. But if you still need help, if you need to be able to get that jump start, tap in with myself. Again, in the show notes, you'll be able to tap in with the Blueprint Movement community, and somebody from my team will help you in getting your blueprint together. And as always, we gonna catch y'all on the flip side, man. Peace.